Terri Clark here, unbelievable. She just killed 2 Mason Jar sessions. Terri, thanks so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me. This is really fun.
So, you announced just recently a new tour that you're going to go right across Canada with. Maybe tell us about Back to Your Roots tour.
Well, the thing that's different about this tour is that, first of all, I have nobody on stage with me except for my guitars. Maybe a little, porch board stomp box and a loop. So it's me and my guitars, and I'll pick up a different guitar for a different song if I want a different sound or a 12-string or something. But it's a one-woman show, and I've never, that's one unique aspect of it that I've never done in Canada, and I've been thinking about doing this for a long time. This is something that's been in the works for years, and I've always known I've wanted to do here. So I went around the world and kind of honed it. I went all over the U.S. and did it, and I went to Scotland and England and did it, and now it's, I wanted the timing to be right. I wanted to really have it down and feel comfortable with it, and it's how I started out. It's called Back to My Roots for a reason. I started out with this guitar in my lap and no band and no accompaniment except for myself, so I figure it's kind of taking it full circle and bringing it back home too.
But let's also talk about, maybe that's what country music is asking for today a little bit more than some of the other stuff that maybe we're hearing on the radio. Maybe it is, the Chris Stapletons and stuff like that have done, a great job of bringing the classic country back into the forefront.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of the artists that I listen to at home, when I'm at my house, I'm listening to Jason Isbell and Chris Stapleton and Holly Williams and Lucinda Williams and people that that are really roots-oriented artists. That's just what I gravitated towards, and to me, that sounds some of it sounds more country than what you hear when you turn on a station that's a country station. But the instrumentation is just more organic, and I love that. I love that about. I used to love that MTV Unplugged show. You're doing something very similar here because it really showcases an artist and a song in their rawest form. And we all started out that way. We didn't start out with in stadiums with these light shows and 10-piece bands and horn sections. It started out like this.
So let's talk about that. The big stadium tours, or let's say the festivals. You've played all the major festivals. What's it like? What do you think it's going to be like to come back from that big festival stage into the smaller venues?
Well, I think in Canada, because nobody's seen this show here really, I can only speak from experience and doing it in other places where people had seen me opening for like Toby and Reba and Brad and people like that, and taking that kind of show, and I would meet people and go, I saw you with George Strait in 1996. Like, they come back because of those bigger shows that they saw me at in the first place. And they hear what the show and the concept's about, and it's a curiosity thing because it's a complete 360. It's not even close to anything that I did before. The songs are, a lot of the same songs are there. The hits will be in the show. There's a lot more of an intimate feeling, though. There's more interaction with the audience. We're doing a Q&A after every show with a moderator. So for 15 or 20 minutes after every show, I've got somebody like Donahue or Jerry Springer with the mic out in the audience asking me questions, which gives every single person there a VIP experience that, usually that's for fan club parties and things like that. So this is something that we're going to do in every single market we go to, and we're going to places I've never played before. That's another
which is really cool
aspect. Yeah.
So you touched on your fan base, the Hat Brats. You got a great fan base.
Yes.
Absolute huge support. I know I was at a recent show and I could tell that they're there. Usually when artists talk between songs, sometimes you hear a little louder in the crowd. I could hear a pin drop. Seriously, because they want to hear what you have to say.
Unfortunately, they hear what I have to say. Yeah, that just encourages me to talk more, which I don't always have to. But.
Yeah, but what's it like to have a fan base like that helps and supports, putting a record out and things like that?
Oh, they've been amazing. I am so lucky. They really, it may not be the biggest fan base in the world, but I challenge anybody to say they've got a more passionate fan base. They're very passionate. They get me and I get them, and they know, I think, that I could easily be one of them down in the front row watching my favorite artist because I'm a fan of music. I love music. There's something about my music and me as a person that connects with them, and I don't know what it is, but I'm not going to question it. I'm grateful for it. I don't take it for granted, and I think they know how much I appreciate it, and that's people want to be appreciated and loved and accepted, and that's what we all try to do for each other, me included, you know, and I think we all have that. And they've made friends with each other. There have been people that maybe felt alone or lonely that went to a show by themselves, and next thing you know, they've got this instant family, and they look out for each other. I'm proud to kind of have been the spearhead for some of these friendships that will last the rest of their lives. So to me, you know, when I die and I'm on my deathbed, that's the stuff that makes me the proudest, more than the awards and the gold records and stuff like that, is what brought people together.
Well, you're really good at interacting online with your social media stuff. How do you think that that's kind of evolved, let's say from '96 when you were the emerging artist? You know, like how does that kind of change things for you even?
Oh, a lot. I mean, in '96, I didn't even have a cell phone. I mean, I got a cell phone my first year on the road, and then we got this thing called a website going, and that I thought was super, you know, amazing. And you've got mail, you know, that was that day, and that was before the whole Napster thing started, and labels started scrambling. Oh, we'll never have to worry about people downloading free music. No problem. Now the whole business model's changing. People are doing crowdfunding records, because I did my last one, my fans helped me with, you know, and it was a great pre-order campaign, so they actually get the record. They're going to buy it anyway because they have invested in me thus far in my career, so that they're helping us create this record. And without social media, this would not have happened. These things can't happen. And just staying connected on a daily basis. Used to be they would come to a show, get a meet and greet, and that would be the only time that they would feel a super connection or an interaction with you all year maybe. Now I can answer somebody's tweet or favorite it or acknowledge it or something, and it's like an instant connection to that person, and they feel like they've been heard. Yeah. Even if I don't, you know, if they don't like what I have to say back to them sometimes, but it's like, it is communication, and it's, I think it's a good thing for artists like me or artists that are just starting out, for me to maintain what I've got and what I've built over the years, and for artists that are trying to build something, it's a great platform. You know, there are artists like Luke Bryan and Florida Georgia Line who are filling stadiums, you know, every night. Social media is great for them, but they don't need it, I think, as much as artists on that are bookending that kind of a career. Yeah. So it's very useful and a great tool to have.
Well, I know you're playing Havelock Jamboree this year.
Yes, I am. I'm so excited.
Welcome back to that.
Thank you.
Yes. It's been a few years since you've played that last. That's kind of your only Ontario date, let's say, before you kick off the tour. How exciting is it to be back for Havelock?
I love Havelock. I love playing Canadian festivals. There's just it's so cool, and I love going on like at these Canadian festivals in the middle of all these huge American acts. It's just, I'm a fan of them, you know. Yeah. I'm doing a festival, you know, with Dwight Yoakam this summer, and I get to stand back and watch his show, and I had his records, and it's just a cool feeling. You know, I'm not exactly sure who's on the bill at Havelock. I have
Sammy Kershaw.
I know Sammy. Yes, that's going to be awesome. You know, so it's fun. It's fun to do these things and get out in front of the festival crowds. And I'll be with the band, which is a completely different show than what I'm going to be doing when I come back through Ontario in the fall with the guitar.
Well, thanks so much for doing this. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Terri Clark, don't miss her on tour this fall.